I feel confused, scared, terrified.
Kaula Noman's walk to school turned into a nightmare when she says a man came up behind her, pulled down the hood of her coat, and cut her hijab.
And I turned around and I saw him with his scissors, and he ran away.
But it wasn't over. Noman says she and her brother crossed the street to join a group of kids, but the man followed and cut her hijab again.
I felt scared and worried about my sister and think what's going to happen next to her.
For Noman's mother, it was heart-wrenching.
I'm just so happy she's safe. I'm very frustrated and I'm angry, but I don't, you know what? We believe in peace and Canada. Like, I'm so proud to be a Canadian, and I want to give him the same message. Why are you thinking like this? Like, you know, we're all together in this.
She says in 25 years in Canada, she's always felt safe, especially in this part of town. Scarborough has long been known for its diversity. The school board says students are shaken.
This is a school where it's not just preaching inclusiveness, it's living it.
Toronto police say they're investigating the incident as a hate crime and already have a few leads on the suspect.
The description that the little girl gave police is he's in his 20s, 5'8" to 6 feet tall, medium build, with black hair, mustache, and glasses.
And for Kaula Noman, nothing but praise.
This girl was brave enough to confront the man, look at the man, make a noise, and then even proceeded to walk with a bunch of other kids after the first one happened, realizing their safety in numbers.
Even with street smarts, she's nervous about walking to school.
I'm actually really scared, but I have family to support me and everything.
Stephanie Skandaris, CBC News, Toronto.
My heart goes out to the young girl who was attacked, seemingly for her religion. I can't imagine how afraid she must have been. I want her and her family and her friends and community to know that that is not what Canada is, and that is not who Canadians are.
This story came 3 days later, this morning, when Toronto police said it had now concluded the incident never happened.
There was the little girl saying what happened to her, there was the little boy who said he saw the whole thing, and then there was the mother who was reacting as well. Who along that line was lying?
I'm not going to go into specifics. What is significant is that when investigators had all the evidence that they'd gathered, they looked at it, they tested it, and they came to the conclusion that the events on Friday simply didn't happen.
I watched this little girl's interviews, and I became even more suspicious. You see, my godson, he's around that age, and you can tell when a little kid is up to something, right? So you remember, there was universal condemnation against this act, again, as it rightfully should. But when this little girl spoke, it sounded very rehearsed, like somebody had told her what to say, and she was using words that kids that age do not use.
That's true. True.
And then when the truth came out, and by the way, our immense gratitude is with the Toronto police for bringing out the truth and standing boldly, quickly, for what's right. So while our liberal politicians were in full hysterics, condemning this act, once the truth came out, what did they say? Nothing! They said nothing! So they are defending, by saying nothing, they're defending an act that polarized our communities, that polarized Canada, that divided us. That's it. Does that sound right to you? No! They promoted hate towards Asians.
Yes!
Towards my family!
Yes! Towards all Canadians!
Yes, all Canadians!
This isn't right!
No! Not right!
Canadians are one people, no matter where you originally came from. I wasn't born here. My wife wasn't born here. We're Canadians. Yeah! Right? I don't look like most of these people. I'm Canadian, so what? We can be different, and we can still be one. Yeah! My wife's family is Chinese. My kids will be Asian. This is not what I want for them. No. How about you? I don't want this for my Canada. I don't want this for my family. I don't want this for your families or any Canadian family. Or any family whatsoever, regardless of where they're from. It's time we got rid of these politicians that love to divide us. Because if you didn't know, this girl's mom is connected to Kathleen Wynne. Yes! Did you know that? No! Yes, they're connected. This is all a very orchestrated act.
Okay, friends, fellow Canadians, patriots, thank you so much for coming. It was a short notice, but we all as Canadians are absolutely shocked by what our government is doing. So thank you so much for coming, and we'll have different speakers today representing all Canadians. You will hear from the Asia, you will hear from Africa, you will hear from Europe, you will hear from a Canadian born here, because we are all Canadians. We all want to respect the Charter of Rights, the Constitution of this country. We all are born equal in the eyes of God, and we should be equal in the eyes of the government.
Yes.
No favoritism.
No.
Favoritism should be illegal. Yes. Government should not favor one ethnic group from another ethnic group. We are all Canadians. Yes. We came to this country because we were sick and tired of favoritism in our own countries. From the elites, from this party or that party. We escaped the horrors of our country to come here to find freedom, equality, bread, work, that we can raise our children without the fear of them being discriminated because we are white or yellow or red or black, or if we come from a different country that now the government does not prefer. Again, we are here because we are tired of what's happening in Ottawa. We are tired of what is happening in the media. We are tired that one group demands more rights than the rest of us. We are all Canadians. And we should have the same rights. That's why I am here. Because when I look at you, I don't see people from Europe, or blacks or Asians. What I see Canadians. My fellow patriots, people that are working hard, paying taxes, because they want to have a better tomorrow for their children. So I say, let's fight them for our children's sake. And let's send a message to the government that we will not put up any longer with this craziness, with this favoritism towards one ethnic group or towards one religion. So we'll have different speakers. You don't see many media here. You don't see them because they don't care if you live or die. And that's the truth. They do not care, because if they would care, they would be here. They would cover the story and they would say, you have a right as a Canadian to tell your side of your story. It reminds me of my childhood. It reminds me why I escaped my country. I escaped because of this. Because the elite and the propaganda media, they were deciding what's acceptable and what's not. What to cover and what not to cover. Do you want to have a country that is run by the elites, that is run by corrupted governments, that picks and chooses who is worthy and who is not. I hope your answer is no. Let's keep them accountable. Let's put a check. Let's send a message to them, and let's do it again. We came here today on a short notice. In April 14, we're going to do the biggest rally this city has ever seen. And we will march to City Hall. And we will demand that everyone living here is equal under the law and in the sight of God. Yes. April 14, 2 p.m. Remember, mark this day. Because if we will not unite, if we will not stand together, if we will not put our differences aside for a moment, we will be swollen. We will be destroyed. There is this Canadian-American saying, united we stand, divided we fall. Let's unite. Let's unite. And let's tell them, we Canadians, we have a voice in this country. It's not only Trudeau with his few people around and the corrupted media. We have rights. And we want them. All of them, not just some of them. April 14th. We want the blacks, the yellow, the white, the red. We want all patriots. We all want all Canadians to come. I hope to see you there. We were waiting for the media to come. Obviously, they're not interested. Obviously, your life is not worth anything to them. But I say today, let's become media of today. Let's go to the social networks. Let's spread the word around. One can do 1,000, but two can do 10,000. There is power in unity. If we go to the Facebook pages, if we go to the websites, if we send the messages, even if one of us, every one of us, sends the message to 10 of his friends, we will have an army. It's time to rise up before it's too late. When the Nazis came to power in the early 1930s, some people said, well, they're not bothering us. And they did nothing. They didn't oppose them. They didn't stop against them until one day the Nazi party decided we want it all. Don't kid yourself, friends. Don't kid yourself, Canadians. They came for one finger. They're going to come back for your hand. Then they will come back for your children. Then they will wipe out entire families. They never stop. Evil never stops. So if you don't want to do it for you, do it for them. Do it for your kids. Fight for your kids. Because today, we still can. It says that no one guarantees us tomorrow, and that's true. You don't know what will happen to you tomorrow. You don't know if you have tomorrow. You don't know if you have an hour. But for their sake, I say, let's fight. Let's speak. Let's not be muzzled anymore. April 14, let's gather such an army of like-minded Canadians that the enemy will start to fear us, so we can have our voice back.